Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. This afternoon at approximately 3:30, JSO and JFRD were dispatched to the McDonald's restaurant at 11,230 Old St. Augustine Road in reference to a stabbing. When they arrived, JFRD located the victim inside of the restaurant, suffering from several stab wounds. The victim was transported to a local hospital where tragically he was pronounced deceased. Patrol officers who were responding immediately canvassed the area and located an individual matching that suspect description. He was taken into custody without incident. The JSO Homicide Unit and Crime Scene Unit responded, and we're going to conduct the investigation. We're still very early, but what we believe is that the victim and suspect know each other. They were inside of the restaurant, and at some point an altercation ensued, and the suspect stabbed the victim several times. The victim's described as a white male, approximately 60 years old, and the suspect is a white male, somewhere between 30 and 40 years old. Both of the individuals were patrons of the restaurant and are not employees. The suspect's been transported down to the Police Memorial Building where he's being interviewed. Detectives are currently at the scene processing for evidence as well as interviewing witnesses that were inside of the restaurant. The restaurant does have video surveillance, which is also being downloaded. We're asking anybody that has any additional information for us to reach out. They can call at 630-0500. They can reach out via email at jsocrimetips@jacksheriff.org, or they can reach out via Crime Stoppers at 866-845-TIPS.
Can you say how the suspect was tracked down? We noticed there was a chopper in the area. Can you say where he was found and how he was
located nearby. He had fled on foot. Calling in a helicopter and canines is pretty standard for incidents when somebody flees. What I've been told, the information relayed, is that when patrol responded, they had a suspect description from the 911 calls, and they began canvassing behind the businesses in the woods, and they located the suspect near a business nearby.
Can you tell us about the weapon that was used?
We have not located a weapon as of this point. We know that the victim did suffer stab wounds, but what actual weapon caused those stab wounds, we don't know yet.
Where was the suspect located exactly?
Exactly, I don't know. He was behind one of the businesses, whether it's this one or that one.
Can you describe the scene in the McDonald's? Multiple stab wounds. That sounds like it would have decimated the appearance of the restaurant.
There's a blood trail through the restaurant that starts where the victim and suspect were seated and leading around the restaurant towards the door where ultimately the victim fell down due to his injuries, and that's where JFRD began their treatment.
Were they related?
We don't know. I don't believe so at this point. We believe that they are just acquaintances or friends, but hopefully through the interview with the suspect and interviews with the victims' families, we'll be able to finalize what relationship they had.
What was the general mood of people inside the restaurant who had to witness this, be it employees or
Sure.
customers?
Obviously, it's a traumatic event that sadly people had to be witness to. I haven't talked to any personally. We're grateful that they are sticking around and they're cooperating with us. They are. Some are here. Some have been transported downtown to talk as well. So we're thankful for their cooperation.
And do we know how they were they related as relatives, or were they just acquaintances?
The victim and suspect?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. Hopefully the interview with the suspect will shed some light onto their relationship and any interviews with the victim's family.
And do we know if they were in line, or they seated and eating? Or
they were seated at a table.
Together?
Were they with anyone else?
To the best we know, they were just seated together, just the two of them at a restaurant.
Did the victim make it out of the restaurant, or did he?
No, he was inside the restaurant when JFRD began treatment.
And was he pronounced on the way or at the hospital?
He was pronounced deceased at the hospital.
Can you say how many times?
I don't know. I know multiple now. That determination will be made by the medical examiner's office once the doctors do their autopsy.
Has next of kin been notified?
Not yet, no. We are waiting positive ID on the victim prior to doing that.
And any idea how long the restaurant will be closed indefinitely, or do we know?
That'll be a decision they have to make. We will be here for a few more hours, and then I'm confident that the restaurant will then go through their procedures, their cleaning procedures, and things like that.
Witnesses said any idea why they were arguing? Has that been made clear at this point?
Not to me as of yet. Again, the detectives are currently interviewing the witnesses, and then all of that information will then be put together by our team later.
And when will witnesses be released? Any idea?
As soon as they're done. Again, none of them are being detained against their will. They are cooperating with us, which we absolutely appreciate their help for sure.
And at this point, you're not looking for anybody else?
Correct. At this point, we are not looking for anybody else. We're confident that we have the suspect in custody.
And you said there is surveillance.
There's surveillance video inside of the restaurant that will be downloaded and then reviewed as well as part of the investigation. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
It's in the email.
Check. All right.
Oh yeah, you're good. Sorry.